Welcome dear students. Dear students, so in this video we will be having the previous year gate questions. Okay, so definitely it is for our practice. So how the questions are asked in the gate on this material science. So let us start with this. Okay. So the first question dear students we are having, when this 1% plain carbon steel is slowly cooled from the molten state to 740 degrees centigrade. The resulting structure will contain, okay, so of course we have seen this Fe3C. So this is the alpha and this is the gamma austenite, isn't it? 910 degrees centigrade. This is the A1 line, 727 degrees centigrade. Okay, so what they are saying that dear students, so of course here is the alpha, this is alpha, here this is alpha plus gamma, this is gamma, and here is alpha plus cementite, isn't it? And here will be this uh, gamma plus cementite, Fe3C, Fe3C, right? So they are asking at say 1%. You know, at ejected point, this is the ejected point having 0.8 percentage of carbon, isn't it? And this the ejected region when continue till 2.1 percentage of carbon, isn't it? So all this up to 2.1% carbon I am saying, dear students. Of course, maximum solubility will be 6.67% in the iron. So the question, dear students, please read it very nicely. You can get here. They are saying at 1% of carbon. Say this line I am drawing for, say 1% of carbon, 1% carbon. So definitely, dear students, when I am saying the 1% of carbon, and they are saying that the temperature is around 740 degrees centigrade. 740. Say this is a 740 degrees centigrade line. So definitely you can see here, dear student. So at 740 degrees centigrade, definitely there will be the this gamma austenite plus Fe3C, isn't it? That is the austenite and cementite is there at 1% carbon and temperature 740 degrees centigrade. Very accurately you can see this when you draw this diagram. So definitely see the option A, perlite and cementite. No, perlite is below 727 degrees centigrade. Ferrite and cementite. So see, cementite is okay, but ferrite is again, it is 100% near to the iron. Okay, so again this is also not austenite and ferrite. So austenite and ferrite, dear students, it is not, again it is here, this austenite and ferrite in this range from the 727 to 910 degrees centigrade. But yes, austenite, this gamma is austenite and cementite is the Fe3C. Yes, so option D is very much correct, dear students, isn't it? So any doubt for this question, dear students? So 1% कार्बन पे आपने अगर 740 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड पे अगर आप स्ट्रक्चर देखते हो तो आपको क्या दिखाई देगा? Of course, there will be austenite and cementite, right? So D is the correct answer. Next question, dear students. So what they are saying, increase in the carbon content in the plain carbon steel raise its number one, option A, ductility and ultimate tensile strength and malleability, tensile strength and hardness, and ductility and melting point. Dear students, basically when we add the carbon, when we add the carbon into the steel, the tensile strength, very nicely you can get this tensile strength and hardness of steel, these two things are getting increases. Okay, at the same time you can add one more thing, when carbon goes on increasing, the brittleness of the steel also goes on increases. So here, no ductility, no this malleability. Okay, So ductility is never going to increase, dear students. But here in this option malleability, that is ability to form into the sheet. Okay, so again that is not possible when you are increasing the percentage of carbon. So very correct answer, dear students. Yes, the tensile strength and hardness of the steel goes on increasing when you add the carbon content in the plain carbon steel. Next question, dear students. Okay, so this is on the FRP. We'll take this question. Okay, so the question is the iron carbon diagram and the time temperature transformation curve, that is TTT curve, are determined under option A equilibrium and non-equilibrium conditions respectively, non-equilibrium and equilibrium conditions respectively, option C equilibrium conditions for both, and option D non-equilibrium conditions for both. So dear students, as in the name itself we have explained, that is Fe3C, Fe Fe3C equilibrium diagram, isn't it? Equilibrium diagram. So of course this iron carbon equilibrium diagram is determined in the equilibrium state, equilibrium conditions, whereas this TTT curve, dear students, okay, it is for actually non-equilibrium conditions. Non-equilibrium conditions. Please remember it. So the correct answer will be what? Option A, very much correct. The iron carbon equilibrium diagram for equilibrium conditions, whereas the TTT curve for non-equilibrium conditions. Okay. So next question. During the heat treatment of steel, the hardness of various structures is increasing order. So if you see, dear students, the increasing order of hardness definitely from, I will write here this coarse perlite, which is having the Rockwell hardness on C scale, that is 15. If you see the fine perlite, dear students, it will be having the hardness on C scale, that is 25. And martensite, I already explained you in the martensitic transformation, it will be having the hardness on Rockwell C scale 65. So if you put it them in the increasing order, definitely it will start with the coarse perlite first, then the fine perlite, and lastly the martensite. Okay, so what will be the correct answer for these, dear students? You are getting coarse perlite, fine perlite, and martensite, and sphaerolite is again having the less hardness than this coarse perlite. You can write here the sphaerolite. Okay, in the form of globules, which carbon is there, right? So you will get the answer as the D. Okay. सो कोर्स परलाइट के बाद सबसे ज्यादा हार्डनेस होता है फाइन परलाइट का, उसके बाद सबसे ज्यादा जो है द हार्ड एंड ब्रिटल फेज, दैट इज द मार्टेंसाइट. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. द कोल्ड वर्किंग ऑफ स्टील इज डिफाइंड एज द वर्किंग. ओके, सो कोल्ड वर्किंग में हम क्या करते हैं? बिलो द रिक्रिस्टलाइजेशन टेम्परेचर ऑफ मटेरियल वी आर वर्किंग, and in hot working we are working above the recrystallization temperature. Okay, so definitely in cold working below its recrystallization temperature. So C is the correct answer. Okay, next, dear students, so hardness of the steel greatly improves with the, yes, we have seen this, how it is increased in the cyaniding, actually in the cyaniding. So dear students, the question says that the hardness of the steel greatly improves with, so definitely, dear students, cyaniding is the correct answer. We have discussed in the heat treatment. Okay, सबसे ज़्यादा जो हार्डनेस मिलता है किसमें मिलता है? साइनाइडिंग, then carburizing, and finally less we are getting in the carburizing. Okay, so nitriding, in between hardness we are getting. So correct answer will be the cyanide. Next question, dear students. The percentage of carbon in the gray cast iron range. Okay, so dear student, in the gray cast iron range, so after 2.1 to 6.67, whatever the things are there. These are nothing but the cast irons. Okay, the cast irons. And if you talk about this gray cast iron, dear students, so the from 3 to 4% of carbon in cast iron. How much the gray cast iron having, how much the range of carbon there? It is from 3% to 4%. Okay, so of course 8 to 10 it's not a valid option, dear students, because maximum solubility kitne hai carbon ki in the iron? Up to 6.67, so that could not be possible. 0.25 to 0.75 not possible. 1.25 to 1.75 not possible, because कार्बन की रेंज क्या होती है कास्ट आयंस में? Up to 2 to 6.6. So only the correct option is the option C, that is 3 to 4%. Okay, now what they are saying, from the list given below choose the most appropriate set of heat treatment process and the corresponding process characteristics. So they are asking for tempering. As we know that, dear student, tempering is what? Somewhat we are, after just hardening or after just cooling this gamma austenite, okay, and it will use the martensite. So we are going to reheat that martensite to have some decrease in hardness and brittleness. So for that reason we are doing the tempering. If you talk about the Aus tempering, dear students, so Aus tempering is actually the process where the austenite is converted into benite, and when we talk about the Mart tempering, the austenite is converted into martensite. So actually these are the overall ideas about tempering, Aus tempering and Mart tempering. So let us see what are the match the pair for this. So characteristics are given. So austenite is converted to benites. This is of course this is the Aus tempering. Aus tempering. So austenite is converted into martensite. Yes, it is Mart tempering. And here this carbon is absorbed into metal. No, both hardness and brittleness are reduced. Yes, because when we have the secondary heating of the martensite, because martensite is very hard and brittle, so definitely it cannot be directly used in the practical or engineering applications as it is. So for that we are reducing its hardness and brittleness. So this is the tempering. So if you correctly match, dear students, so definitely you will get this as uh, option C will be very correct. Okay, right? So this is the correct answer. Go next. Okay. Next question says that, dear students, when the temperature of solid metal increases, yes, when the temperature goes on increasing, dear students, the ductility, that is the grain size is going to be get larger in size, and when the grain size is larger, definitely the deformation you can easily get into that, isn't it? That is formability goes on increasing. Of course the ductility increases as the temperature increases. Okay, so if you say the correct statement out of this ABCD, the strength of metal decreases. Yes, strength of metal decreases because ductility is increases. Because see, ductility and strength are of course adverse or reciprocal to each other. As strength increases, definitely there will be the increase in hardness. Okay, and I am saying as toughness increases, there will be definitely increase in the ductility. Okay, so याद रखना, toughness and ductility comes together, whereas strength and hardness they will come together. Okay, so definitely out of all these the option A is very correct. Strength of the metal decreases but ductility increases. As grain size go on increasing, it is again very easy to deform, again it is very to form. Okay, so the next question, dear students, see the question says the main purpose of spheroidizing heat treatment. We already seen, dear students, why it is used. So it will increase the machinability of what? The high carbon steels. So it is very straightforward question we have seen in this heat treatment, dear students, that the spheroidizing is the process okay, which is used generally for the high carbon steels to enhance the machinability in that. Actually, with this heat treatment, what is going to happen, dear students? Because here, see, when it is given to the high carbon steels, and of course, also it is given to the, please remember this, air hardening alloy steels. It is also given for air hardening alloy steels to soften these alloys, okay, and increase the machinability in that, and increase the machinability in these alloys. So that is the main purpose of spheroidizing. Okay, next question. So dear students, see, the ultimate tensile strength of the material is 400 megapascal and elongation up to the load is say 35%. If the material obeys the power law of hardening, then the true stress and true strain relationship. Okay. So, dear students, we know that what is the true stress and true strain relation, that is sigma t is equal to k into epsilon to the power n, where the sigma t is the true stress and this epsilon is equal to our true strain, and this k is our strength coefficient. At strain equal to 1, at strain is equal to 1, the value of sigma t is nothing but our strength coefficient. That is, we are knowing in very much details. And dear students, n is a what, our strain hardening exponent. Strain hardening exponent, dear students. And what is the main thing they are saying here, dear students? They are saying that as maximum load. Okay, so maximum loading will be there. And dear students, you know that at maximum loading or at UTS or at fracture strength, okay, so at breaking point, we know that this n strain hardening exponent is equal to what? That is the true strain. Okay, this is actually what? Instability in tension. We have derived this relationship, that is n is equal to epsilon. So we have to choose this correct equation for this true stress. Okay, so here what, the elongation given in percentage, that definitely with the origin percent, it is given in percent, mean with the origin it is given. So definitely it will be what, true strain or normal or engineering strain. Of course it is engineering strain 0.35. Okay, the normal stress sigma n is how much? 400, that is the ultimate strength of the material, megapascal. So we know the relationship between this sigma t is equal to what? Sigma n into bracket 1 plus E, and the another relation for the strain, we know that this strain is equal to ln of 1 plus E, isn't it? So go on, calculation for the sigma t is equal to what? 400 into bracket 1.35, and the strain will be equal to what? Ln of 1.35. So tell me very fast, what are the answers? Okay, so if you calculate, dear students, the sigma t will be this 540 megapascal, calculate, and the strain will be how much, dear students? It will be 0.3. Okay, the strain will be 0.3, then of course n will be 0.3 is definitely. So out of this option C, so this get cancels because 0.35, n is what, how much, 0.3. So now the required thing is what, need to calculate the k. So sigma t is equal to k into epsilon to the power n. So put here the values of sigma t and epsilon, that is 540 is equal to k into epsilon is what, 0.3 to the power 0.3, isn't it? So how much it is, k will be how much, it will be equal to 775 megapascal, dear students. Now you get everything here. Just compare with the standard equation, that is sigma t is equal to k epsilon to the power n. So you can write here the standard equation will be, the standard material obeys the power law, which is sigma is equal to k is how much, 775 into epsilon to the power n is how much, 0.3. So this is our correct answer, dear students. So what will be correct answer? So yes, of course, B is our correct answer, isn't it? So go for next. So dear students, match the pair here. See, spiral test. This is in the metal casting to see the fluidity of the molten metal, dear student. Noob is the micro hardness test. We have seen the hardness, all the types of measurement in the hardness. Then dear students, cupping test is basically to check the formability, and Charpy, dear students, it is very important test to measure what? The toughness, isn't it? Charpy and Izone test are there, isn't it? So this is the correct match the pair. So go for next question, dear students. So if a particular iron carbon alloy contains less than 0.83% carbon, okay. So see, so we'll start from 0 to 6.67. So if it is here 0.8 percentage of carbon, 2.1, here is a 4 and 6.67. So dear students, so first thing is that from this region up to 2.1 there will be the steels, and from here to 6.7 there will be the cast irons. Okay, so this is the eutectoid point actually. Less than this there will be the hypoeutectoid steels, eutectoid. From 0.8 to 2.1 there will be the eutectoid, isn't it? And here the cast irons from 2.1 to 4 there will be hypoeutectic cast iron, because a eutectic reaction will be there, and after that there will be hypereutectic cast iron. So of course, dear student, what the hypoeutectoid steels are there. This is the answer. Okay, so very nice. Next we can have the question. See, the effective number of lattice points in the unit of simple cubic, body centered cubic and face centered lattice, space lattice respectively are. So dear students, we have calculated the effective number of or average number of units. Say for the simple cubic is how much? It will be 1 by 8 into 8, it will be 1, isn't it? We have the formula, that is NC by 8 plus NF by 2 plus interior atom, isn't it? So of course in the simple cubic it will be 1. If I talk about body centered cubic BCC, it will be, that is 8 corner 8 plus, there is no any face centered but 1 at the body center, that will be 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. And for face center, dear student, FCC, the 8 corners 8 plus face, how many faces are there? 6 faces divided by 2 plus 0 at the center, that will be 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. So what will be the answer, dear students? 1, 2 and 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. So B is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Very good. Next, go on having this question number 1.16. So dear student, see, which of the following is the correct data structure for solid models? See dear students, if you going to see how the structure of the solids are made, so it will start with the vertices. Okay, so first of all there will be the sequence will be the vertices. With the vertices then they lead to the formation of edges. With the edges there will be the formation of faces, and including all these faces now the solid part is going to made. So that is the correct sequence. So vertices, edges, faces and solid parts. So option C, dear students, this option C is very much correct. Okay, very nice. This is 2009 question actually, ME 2009 for 1 mark. Next, dear students, the material property which depends only on the basic crystal structure, dear students. So please remember, there are actually the material properties which are depend upon the purity of the crystal structure and the sum of the property which are depend upon the defects or impurity or the imperfection in the crystal structure. Imperfection in the crystal structure. So dear students, if you look at this, what are the properties which are depend upon the perfection in the crystal structure, dear students? So definitely there will be what? The specific heat, then the density we will find there, then you can have the modulus of elasticity, okay, then the ductility, okay, then the melting point. So these are the properties actually, dear students, which are depends upon the perfection in the crystal. But dear students, when you talk about the imperfection in the crystals, we are having the yield stress, the yield strength, the fatigue strength, okay, the fracture strength, okay, we are having the semiconductivity, electrical conductivity, then we are having this strain hardening or work hardening. So these are the properties generally depends upon the imperfection in the crystal structure. Here you can also add the coefficient of thermal expansion, coefficient of thermal expansion also in the properties which are depend upon the crystal structure. So if you see here, dear students, the material property which depends only on the basic crystal structure, that is the purity of the crystal structure, dear students. So fatigue strength, work hardening and this fracture strength are belonging to the properties which are depend upon the imperfection or defects in the crystal. So only one property, that is modulus of elasticity or elastic constant, is the correct answer for this question, dear students, isn't it? Next question, dear students. The crystal structure of the austenite is very easy question. It is a FCC, face-centered cubic structure, dear student. That is why only in that region we can able to deform the steel very easily. It is having very good formability or ductility, isn't it? So the correct answer is what? This face-centered cubic. So next question, dear students. During normalizing the process of steel, normalizing process of steel, the specimen is heated, okay. So we know that, dear students, we are heating the specimen above the upper critical temperature and we are cooling in the steel air, that we have already seen, okay. While in the this annealing, we are just keeping in this specimen in the furnace itself, okay. So here, that is why we are getting the higher rate of cooling, and that is the reason why we are getting some fine structure of the grains, and that is why this normalized product is having quite good the strength than this annealed component, okay. So of course the C is the correct answer for this normalizing process. Next, dear students, for the ductile material, toughness is a measure of, yes, we already seen that it is the energy absorbed up to the fracture point, isn't it? That is the toughness. So if you talk about the toughness, so up to this failure point, whatever this energy absorbed by this material, say this is sigma and this is epsilon. So see, this is what the energy absorbed up to this failure, that is nothing but the toughness. So if you write in terms of the energy per unit volume, dear students, so it will be C, so megapascal or say Newton per meter square into meter per meter, because it's a strain product of this stress and strain, it will be what? Newton meter per meter cube. So Newton meter is nothing but the joule per meter cube, which is the energy per unit volume. energy per unit volume is nothing but our modulus of toughness. Modulus of toughness. We have seen all this in the second chapter, isn't it? So of course, ability of the energy absorbed up to the toughness, up to the failure or fracture. That is the toughness. Next question, dear students. The process of reheating the martensitic steel to reduce the brittleness without any significant loss in the hardness, of course, it is tempering. Yes or no? Very easy. It is a tempering, dear students. So, what is the answer for this question? That is the tempering process. Next, match the pair group A tempering, quenching, annealing, normalizing is given. Okay, and in group B, strengthening and grain refinement, inducing toughness, hardening, softening. So, dear students, of course, this P is going to match with the this 2, that is tempering. Definitely, it is inducing the toughness. Then Q will be matching to the 3. Okay, that is quenching. Yes, you are certainly quenching. Then definitely there will be the hardening effect. So answer will be, dear students, now it will be the B. So R is what? Annealing. Will be having, that is softening of the material. And finally, the normalizing is what? Just now I told you that the little bit fine grain size we are getting, that is why the strength is increasing or refinement of the grains in the normalizing, isn't it? This is the normalizing. So that's good, very nice. Next question, dear students. The atomic packing factor for the material with the BCC. That's very nice, dear. We have already calculated, dear student, how much it is. 0.68 or 68%. That is correct answer. FCC, it will be 74%. HCP, it will be 74%. Simple cubic, it will be 58%, isn't it? And BCC, it will be 68%. Okay. Next question, dear students. The Jomini test is used, of course, for the hardenability. Very good. Okay. So next question, in the phase diagram shown, the 4 samples of the same compositions are heated and temperature marked by A, B, C and D. At which temperature will the sample get solutionized the fastest? So of course, dear students, this is the precipitation hardening process. Precipitation hardening. Okay, we have seen this process in the heat treatment topic at the last. Okay, that is the Wilms alloy, isn't it? That is specially suitable for the non-ferrous material. Non-ferrous material, that is for aluminum and copper. We have taken the example. So definitely, dear students, so in this phase diagram, so here at which temperature will sample get solutionized the fastest? So only at temperature C, dear students, okay, where the pure 100% alpha is there, right? And when it is going, we are coming below this, so this alpha is going to form in terms of the supersaturated alpha plus the precipitate phase, okay, that is Al2Cu, Al2Cu, okay, precipitate phase, and this will be acting as the what? The barriers for the movement of the dislocation and how the strength of the component is goes on increasing. So of course the answer will be, dear students, C. So given the atomic weight of the iron 56, okay, and that of the carbon 12, the weight percentage of carbon in the Fe3C, okay, carbon in cementite. So definitely, dear, how to calculate the weight percent of carbon? That is the carbon weight percentage of carbon, sorry, atomic weight of the carbon divided by, this is how much? Fe3, isn't it? C. So it will be what? The carbon The atomic weight is 12 divided by, for iron it is 56. How many atoms are there for iron? 3 plus this one carbon, that is 12 into 1. How much it is? And of course into 100. So it will be, dear students, 6.67%. So very easy, 6.67%. Okay. So next question, the crystal structure of the aluminum. Yes, aluminum is what, dear students? Aluminum, copper, gold, silver, nickel. Okay, these are all what? These are the FCC structures having more ductility. More ductility. So what is the answer? So B, that is FCC, is the correct answer. If you know the BCC, BCC में क्या क्या है dear student? BCC में है vanadium, molybdenum, tantalum, tungsten. These are what? These are the hard materials we are having in BCC. And HCP, dear student, we are having what? Manganese, so magnesium, zinc, cobalt, then chromium. Okay, these are the HCP structures, dear students. If you talk about what are the amorphous, of course the glass is amorphous. Glass is amorphous. So next, the number of atoms per unit cell and the number of sleep systems, dear students. So if you see this answer, very correct answer for the FCC, dear students, it will be there. They are having the 3 number of atoms per unit cell. So how much it is? It is 4 actually, isn't it? Just now we see. And this FCC having, dear students, the 12, the sleep systems. 12 sleep systems. So 4 average number of atoms, or the atoms per unit cell. So answer will be C. And the last question, dear students, we will be discussing here, denoting L as a liquid and M as a solid in a phase diagram with subscripts representing the different phases. A eutectoid reaction is described by, dear students, eutectoid reaction, we've seen that one solid decomposes under cooling to give the another two solids, that is S2 plus S3. Okay, so here the solids are indicated by M and liquid by L. So one solid is undergoing decomposition to form the another solid, another two solids rather, isn't it? So M1 will form M2 plus M3. That is very correct answer. So dear students, these are the some of the questions I have taken for the discussion as the in the topic of the gate questions. So you will be having the again one more practice set that I have made. It will be given to you, dear students. So practice again from that also. So thank you so much, dear students, for joining this session on the gate questions on material science. Thank you so much.